Thank you so much for staying tuned to this channel. If you just joined us, this is TMI. This morning on ITV, you can call it that. Definitely you'll be on point. I am Wilson on Marshall. Well, in this discussion segment, it's all about the Youth Day. Yeah, International Youth Day, the prospect of youths in governance, because we want to link it right now to the local government election in Edo State. Some are of the opinion that it's like the youths, they're woken up from their slumber. If you take a look at the candidates, you get to realize that majority of them are youths. From analysis, people of the opinion that way back, youths used to be the driving force. They back you up, they chant your praise, they follow your cause. Some of them, sometimes misguided, become thugs just to carry out the bidding of the elders right now in quotes. But it's like the narrative is changing. What do you think is behind that narrative? It's about the prospects of youths in governance. With me here in the studio talking about this, I have political analyst, an entrepreneur, a politician. Yeah, join me to welcome Honorable Ogede Ifaluyi Isibo. Welcome to TMI on this edition.
Thank you.
Appreciate your comment.
Thank you, sir.
All right. It's like things are beginning to change in Edo State. The youths are now coming out from the background, so to speak, of being supporters, or being praise singers, or being touted in some negative climes, and now they want to be at the forefront. What do you think is responsible for this change in mentality?
Well, thank you again for the question. The change that we're seeing has been going on for about half a decade now. We've seen young people organize themselves. We've seen young people reorientate themselves. We've seen young people re-educate themselves. We've seen young people decolonize their minds. We've seen young people subject and submit themselves to the regenerational consciousness that is taking over the world today. And it didn't start now. You know, through the ages, young people have always been at the forefront of developmental changes. We saw that in the French Revolution. We saw that, in the Korean Revolution. We saw that in the struggle for independence in the 1960s. We saw that in the civil rights movement in America in the 60s. We saw that also in the Arab Spring recently. We saw that in the call for the emancipation and the destruction of the apartheid regime in South Africa. We saw that earlier this year with the obedience movement. You see, young people have always been at the forefront of societal changes, but it's appeared that, they took a step back at some point. And now we're beginning to realize and recognize that it's time for us to take leadership, because a leader is one that recognizes that leadership is one of honor and privilege given by the people, that you may deploy their resources to their greatest good. And so just like you said in your introduction, in Edo today we're seeing an influx of younger people into the political space to get engaged and to participate in governance. And it's not just about the local government elections. For the first time since 1999, we're seeing many younger people in their early 40s, in their mid-30s, and even in their 20s get elected into the Edo State House of Assembly. We're also seeing a deliberate effort by Governor Godwin Obaseki to bring in younger people into his government. There are younger people heading agencies of government today. We have not seen, these sustained efforts in the last decade or two, but we're beginning to see it now. And that's why you're saying, even in the upcoming local government elections, a lot of younger people are seeing that they have a chance. It's time for us to synergize. It's time for us to pull in one direction. It's time for us to organize ourselves and take up leadership for the benefit of society, to benefit not just our generation, but the generation after us.
All right. Thank you so much for giving us this strong introduction into this discussion. We want to go for a break. When we return, we'll continue with this discussion. World Youth Day. prospect of youths in governance. We're starting off from Edo State and go to the national level, even the global scene, like what you really did. You went through the Arab Spring, you know, and so many other examples being cited. We'll be right back. Don't go away. Thank you so much for staying tuned. If you just joined us, this is TMI. You can call it this morning on ITV. You'll be right on point. We're taking a look at World Youth Day and the prospects of youth in governance. You've heard from the first speaker, the first guest, Honorable Bede Falu Sibo, and we took a break to, bring in another guest. He is a political analyst and entrepreneur, political affairs commentator, youth mobilizer. Join me to welcome Samuel Ehigato, a.k.a. Aras. Welcome to TMI. I appreciate your coming.
Good morning, Wilson. And good morning, viewers.
He just gives an overview and introduction, so to speak, of what is really happening in the world. We have to narrow it down to Edo states and, of course, push it down towards the election, participation of younger persons right now in our elections. It wasn't that way some years ago, so to speak, but right now it's like the youths or the younger persons are beginning to show interest, metamorphosizing from being touts, being ballot box snatchers, being henchmen for the leaders in court right now, to become candidates, to become, a force to reckon with in terms of competing for those same offices they were chanting and hailing others for competing years ago. What do you think is responsible for that change in mentality, Aras?
Thank you very much, Wilson. Our youth are becoming, I think, a little bit more enlightened, a little more conscious of governance, onto the aspect that before you see them being used, they've been paid off. After being paid off, they forget whatever is happening. And they find out now that doing that is not helping the nation, it's not helping their future. Always being bought out in the election, being paid off in the elections, and after none of them is being asked of, except they are being used for, as we said, for revenue collections and similar jobs, like the union way. That was the main focus, because when they were doing elections, you see them more or less focus that if this man win, it will give me this revenue. If this man win, it will give me this union or whatever. So that was their original focus. And now, if you look at Edo State, the revenue collection aspect, even though the Agberu are still around, we should not lie to ourselves, but it has extremely been reduced. They have already seen that there's no future there waiting for revenue. There's no future there waiting for one union to make you what you want to become. So they got to take the bull by the horn, try to lead the system too. And we have a lot of vibrant youth in Edo State. It's not just about the Togrel or the illiterates alone, or the semi-illiterates. We have a lot of literate youth. The problem we have with them, with most of them, we're also out of the country, which I also welcome a situation happening right now that a lot of our vibrant youth are coming back to play politics, try to get involved, try to say, we can make a difference. Because they're coming back with different view, different experience, different visions. Because they've experienced this in Europe, in America, or wherever they're coming from. They already know that the youth is the mobilizer of the nation. The youth is the mobilizer of the economy. Even the social system, it is the youth. So you can't do without them. But it is now for us to realize that it's our time to start taking the bull by the horn, to start taking leadership. And I think this issue of, even though it's not from my party, the OB movement of a thing, it brought a lot of our youth to sensitizations to understand that we can do it. We can make a difference. We can make a statement. So that also gave, I think, a lot of our literate youths, if you try them all, and get to this thing and solve this problem for ourselves. So I think that Obi movement really pushed a lot too. I won't take it from them, even though I'm not a labor man, but among the youth, it galvanized a lot of energy. It gives a lot of energy to the youth that we need to participate in this election to make a difference. Unlike before, when election is coming, they do go register, they do collect their voters card, which was always normal. But the problem was, during the election, you find them a little bit apathy to the election, reluctant. They go play football, or go play draft, or do take one or two bottles with their friends when people are voting. So when you meet them, I was like, if I beg, if not waiting, I vote go count. But they are now realizing it is possible. And I think with the new system coming up with the beavers, even though it is not yet perfect, we should not also take it away from the INEC. It has already also brought confidence in Nigeria electoral process. Irrespective of how people will see the last election, whether it was failed in some aspect, that not transmitting or whatever, we will always have our crunches. We will always have our issues, but we must move from stage to stage. The European we are talking about today, they were not like this too. They took stages that they can even electronically vote from their phone today. It took process, it took years. Because I remember a few years back in Germany, when I was in Germany, you can't even vote from your phone. But today in Germany, you can vote from your phone. It was only in America it was known, So I think we're moving there. The INEC system is helping us to build confidence in the youth. And I think another aspect, politics involve a lot of finance.
We'll come there.
And because politics involve a lot of finance,
yes.
it scares a lot of youth.
We'll come there. We'll get to that point. Because right now it's like some youth are beginning to damn the consequences of money. They feel like money or no money, we are coming out. We'll get to that aspect. Now, some of the opinion that this goes beyond the obedient movement. It goes beyond the hashtag #EndSARS, but it goes beyond the governor of the day, goes beyond the president of the day, goes beyond INEC, but it's just because it's an idea whose time has come. Take it up from there.
Well, you're right. Governance is like a relay race. One person starts the race and hands over the baton to the next person. And that is what politics also is. Because politics is a contestation of ideas. It's a collaboration of thoughts. It's an avenue upon which people synergize, to govern society. And the baton now has been handed over to the next generation. There's been a clamor for aeon now that it's time for young people to, be accommodating in governance. And there's a sense in which that baton has been handed over to us now. And so what are we going to do with it? Are we going to come together and pull in one direction? Are we going to exorcise the ghost of negative ethnicity? Are we going to exorcise the ghost of bitter politics? Are we going to exorcise the ghost of religious intolerance? Are we going to immunize ourselves from the machinations that have put us under for so long? So that is what younger Nigerians are doing now. We're seeing us come together. We're seeing us collaborate. He talked about finance and all. What is happening now is that young people are standing for young people. We're seeing that our fathers and mothers, they've done their best. They've planted the trees. It's time for us to water the trees. And that's what we're doing collectively. And I must applaud, Edo youths. I must applaud Nigerian youths. And when I think of the zest and the zeal that we have, when I think of the vim and the verve that we have, it reminds me of people like Samora Moses Machel. It reminds me of Sam Nujoma. It reminds me of Eduardo Monlane. It reminds me of Nelson Mandela. It reminds me of Hastings Kamuzu Banda. It reminds me of Apollo Milton Obote, Thabo Mbeki, Governor Mbeki, his dad. It reminds me of
when they were younger.
Tafawa Balewa.
When they were younger.
Oh yes, at the time these men reigned, They were in their 30s and 40s.
Yeah.
At the time we were struggling for the independence of Africa, these men were in their 40s. It reminds me of Emperor Haile Selassie. It reminds me of Thomas Sankara. It reminds me of Nnamdi Azikiwe. It reminds me of Amilcar Cabral. It reminds me of these amazing African young men who stood up for their countries and said, now it's time for us to develop some political hygiene in our continent. And then we began to see the erstwhile colonial masters leaving and young Africans taking their destinies in their hands. Whether they progress a lot with that is a different issue. But the fact is that at some point they synergized. And that's what we're seeing today. We're seeing young Nigerians, we're seeing young Edo people synergize and come together. And it's a breath of fresh air. And it makes us feel that now there will be improved political hygiene where our schools are actually schools. Hygiene where our teachers and are passing on to our kids the education they need for the future. Hygiene where roads are constructed and they function. Hygiene where our hospitals are treating ailments. Hygiene where we can disagree along different political lines. We can disagree along different proclivities or eccentricities, but the goal is one. The goal is to prosper the people. The goal is to improve the gross happiness index of society. And I'm looking forward to the day where there will be a cross-pollination between the older generation and the younger generation, where there will be a cross-fertilization of ideas, where there will be an osmosis of thoughts that, okay, sir, you stop here, we're taking over from here. We're not going to do away with you. We need your wisdom. We need your advice. We need your guidance to move forward so that as one generation plants the tree, another generation waters the tree, another generation prunes the tree, and yes, another generation enjoys the shade. That is the future we're looking forward to, and I'm proud to be a part of it.
All right. Now let's come to the finances. It's like some of you know that, look, Wilson, the youth you're saying nowadays, they are not pushovers. Because then it used to be the financial muscle, that's what they are lacking. But right now, it's like the game has changed. We're seeing some very vibrant youths, young youths, they can match the leaders right now, money for money, wealth for wealth. What do you think led to that change? It wasn't like this before.
You know, Wilson,
Yeah.
when some of our youth were thinking of leaving the country, jackpotting according to the language that was popularly used, you know,
Yes.
some of us, the youths too, that did not leave the country, we were thinking of entrepreneurship. We were thinking of building a business, thinking of standing for ourselves over here too. So if you see the like of the youth that contested in this election, whether PDP, whether Labour, whether APC, if you see their vibrancy, if you look at their vibrancy, and you look at their financial muscle, you know they were ready.
They
I
came
don't want to
prepared.
mention- They have pepper. I don't want to mention any particular. They were ready. Some even campaign as if they were campaigning for governorship. The kind of finance they spent. I was amazed. I was proud. Because, you know, I always tell you, the problem of our youth is the finance. Financial muscle. Because you see all these former senators, these former governors, they have this money. They always suppress the youth away during the process of electing internally in the party. That's why you see they don't come up in the May elections. But if you see like election, many youth stands out in the primaries, internal party elections, and stood out in the election. And they showed they were capable. They showed they were ready to take the mantle, you know. So I was very proud of the youth. So let's take it away. In the shortest of time too, you will see more of them. There are many that are very quiet millionaires, if not billionaires. But they are very quiet. You don't know them. They do their business quietly. But now they have known doing business in an environment being led by the wrong people will not lead them to the expectation in the business. So now they are trying to get involved in the leading of the nation, in the politics, to that leadership that will maybe bring advantage to their business, to their like-minded, that's the youth of our age, down. So I think it is very interesting what we are experiencing, most especially in Edo State. This last election, I think the oldest that even contested in the election should be about 50-something. I think none of them was above 60. So it already tells you the difference. Like before, you see those above 60s taking the ticket. You know, you can't do it. They will just tell you the leaders have said it. And you know, those elders and those elders, when they meet, because they belong to the same society, in as much as like before, they used to do things together and give it to themselves. But I think since Comrade Adams Oshomole, he cancelled also a lot of things about this society choice, politics. If you don't belong to an Ogboni, you don't belong to this.
I wouldn't want us now to start mentioning society.
No, I don't want to mention
please, let's water it down, please.
Yeah.
All right.
If you don't belong to those society, you don't get the ticket. I think since Comrade Adams Oshomole, leading to Governor Obaseki, is that Senator Obaseki, I think you are seeing a little difference in this choice of mind. Everybody has been given the opportunity to show himself. It is only a pity that many might not do well because they lack the experience. But if you fall and you get up, you can make it to the next stage.
If
But when you fall
get up
and you stay on the ground, you can't make it. So our youth are ready to fall and
get up
and move it, the country forward. We are very ready. And I can see it in the spirit of the youth. Because when those days when you campaign, you like to capture the elders. Because you know that these elders are the ones going to speak with the youth.
as the leaders, so to speak.
And
right
then
now.
that they will talk to the youth to do the rightful thing. But these days, you got to speak to the youth because they got their own mindset. They got their own focus. It is not what daddy say anymore. It's not what mommy say anymore. It's not what a past say anymore. It's not what these leaders say anymore. They have their focus. If you tell them, vote for this or go to a path, sorry. Now this one I want to vote for. It happens in this last election. I was trying to convince my elder sister's children because they are University of Ekpoma students, about 3 of them. I was not trying to, I'm going to vote for APC. Tinubu go try you. This. You know what they told me? Epa, I lie you now, be I want vote for.
Straight up.
He told me straight. Unlike before, when I tell them this is who you should vote for, they will vote for who I want. You understand? You know, that command session, that's other sessions. I've gone away from the system too. We have our focused mind. The youth are enlightened, more than enlightened. Even 14 years old will tell you who is contesting now. Unlike before, he doesn't even know who is the president. But he will tell you who is contesting now.
All right.
So to tell you he's interested in who want to be his leader.
Okay,
So
now
there's a different in the mindset.
all right. If you take a look at the parties, you talk about NNPP, you talk about APC, talk about PDP, LP, SDP. You just name it. It's like the youths have permeated the hierarchy of this party. Is it a change in party manifesto, change in party mentality, or the youths are the one forcing or bringing this change?
But there's an emancipation that's going on right now. Like I said, it's a regeneration of consciousness. You know, and adding to what he said, people or younger people are beginning to adopt their own decisions. I mean, they are members of society. And the median age in Nigeria today is 16. Of every 10 people you see, at least 5 of them are between the ages of 16 and 25. So that the youth population is growing. And they are saying that they have to participate in the process so that their interests will be protected. Because, I mean, it's easier for me to have confidence when somebody about my age is my governor. I would then understand that he understands how I feel and he knows what my concerns are. So he protects my interests. So the younger people, the younger generation in Edo just now, can see also that if I have somebody about my age in that political office, I can easily walk up to go see him and pay him a visit. I can easily tell him, these are what my concerns are. The fear of not being able to approach him doesn't exist anymore because he's within my age bracket. And that is the continued and sustained emancipation we're going to have to pursue. We must get to the point where younger people are not just voting on election day, they are becoming card-carrying members of political parties. They are contesting for elective positions in the political parties. They are leading even at the ward levels and the local government levels to make it easier so that when the time comes for us to select or elect candidates, we have young people who are going to be that foundational base upon which those decisions will be made. That is what is going on across the world in Europe and in many Western countries. We're seeing presidents in their 40s. We're seeing some in their 30s. These are presidents of world powers. And we're seeing a clamor for those presidents who are unwilling to relinquish power. The younger folks are not taking it any longer. They are saying that you have run your race. Hand over the baton. And we're not going to wait for you to give it to us. We're ready to take it from you. That's why we're seeing, some kind of upheaval or crisis or conflict in some African nations. The younger people are saying that you can't remain in power for 30 years. You can't be in power for 20 years. If we practice a democracy, it avails us the latitude to make choices. And so we want our choices, to be heard. We want our voices to be heard. And we must promote it as much as we can. And I'm pleased, with our leaders who are seeing it today that it is time to bring in the younger people on board. And I was impressed to see people about my age at the ministerial screening, and I said, yes, this is what it should be. I was impressed to see people in their 20s running for office in the State House of Assembly. I said, this is what it should be. And that is where we should put our monies. Those of us who have been able to get some kind of exposure or some kind of education, we can put our monies together. Wilson wants to run for office, not this Wilson now, but Wilson wants to run. He doesn't have all the resources, but 10 of us, we can all raise 1 million each for him.
Just like in Europe.
100 of us, we can all raise 1 million each for him. So that Wilson has the power and he understands that he did not assume that position on his own rights. It was a collaborative effort of people about his age to see that if we elect Wilson, we know that Wilson will have our interest. We know he would not submit himself to a godfather because we are all his godfathers. Wilson now has in his mind the imprimatur by the people to do right when he gets to authority. And that is what we must encourage. And I'm ready and willing to give my total support and encouragement to any young person who wants to be a councillor, who wants to be a local government chairman. We're going to put our monies behind you. We're going to put our voice behind you. We're going to collaborate. We're going to synergize. We're going to pull in one direction because it is time for the emancipation of Edo youth.
Irrespective of party affiliation?
the party nomenclature. No, hold on, sir.
Yeah.
No, I have to address that. It's an important factor.
Yes.
You see, party nomenclature is just a nomenclature. A political party is only a platform upon which people assume power. It doesn't matter the nomenclature of your party.
I'll come back to
what
that.
matters is the ideal, the ethos, and the ethics of that person who's vying for power, who knows that leadership is a privilege and one of honor.
All right. Now, he just brushed into the question I really want to throw at you because of what he said. Party affiliations right now seems to be the order of the day because each political party is in the country in Edo State are churning out youths in their numbers that really want to vie for various positions in governance. Now, how do you think this will play out? Are you going to focus on just the youths in your party, or you can intertwine the ideas of various youth no matter who they are? Take it up from there.
Thank you very much, Wilson. One thing you have to know, even though I'm a card-carrying member of the APC and a politician that play my politics with APC. But it does not stop me that if I see a vibrant youth, a vibrant candidate is coming out from the PDP or is coming out from Labour And he came to meet me for assistance, irrespective of what they call anti-party, because they call it anti-party when you work with PDP.
I was coming to that party loyalty.
Listen to me.
Yes.
Listen to me, Wilson. I'm a party member does not make the party to hold my money. I'm a party member does not hold the party to hold my thinking. I'm a party member does not take my decisions and focus away from me. If this candidate from PDP, and I know he's better, and my party came to feature somebody I know would not do well, Wilson, you would not expect me to come and support that of my party. Let me just tell you the truth. It happened recently in the last elections. I told you a lot about that situation. I told you that I'm going to support individuals, not the party people. And that's exactly what I did. There was some choice of my party that I was not agreed with, I was not happy with, because I felt the younger ones should have gotten the ticket, and they mistakenly took the elderly one that was not even in this country, that doesn't even want to understand our system, but because it was preferred to the leaders, they chose them. But I decided to choose a younger one. It is my voice. It is my money. It's even as a president, I know how many councillors I'm sponsoring, irrespective of party. They know themselves. I didn't say because you came from this party, he came to meet me. The party contest too. Oh no, sir, as it be now, I want to do flyers, I want to do this one. I'll not say because it's not from my party. And I know he's a good youth. And I know what he has in the brain. If he has the opportunity, he can make use of it. I will say I will not give him my money because I'm doing an anti-party. That's wrong. The time of all those games is gone. The election coming right now, it's a grassroots election. People are not going to vote according to party. They are going to vote according to who is representing them, who they see that this man can do better. You might even have the whole financial power, but they will vote against you because they know already this person is better than you, no matter your money, no matter your age. So let's leave party aside first. Let's we the youth start thinking. If you have candidates from PDP in your environment, study, observe him. If you have a labor man, observe him, see his antecedent. What has he done? What is he doing? What is his focus? When you see the focus in him, advise your youth to work with him.
So it goes beyond party affiliation.
It goes beyond, the election coming up goes beyond party affiliation. You are going to be surprised the way the election is going to go, that some party will win, some small party will win, some big party will lose.
Wow, it's getting interesting.
It's going to be a mix-up. I'm telling you, the local government election, all those elections coming up, you see, you are going to shock. That in some places, some small party you don't expect will collect the ticket and win the election. If by God's grace, there is no interference of the mightier. If the will of the people.
You're speaking in parables right now, the interference of the mighty, so to speak.
Yeah, yes, you know why. I go back there again, that you have to know that EDSEC, if we're going to speak about particularly Edo now, EDSEC is an institution created by the executive.
Okay, we'll come back to that.
So for that reason,
yes,
there's always this partial fear of interference of the mightier.
That will be the next topic.
Not making the
that will be for the next topic. Hold on. Just hold your horses. We'll come to the next topic when the time comes, okay? Now let's focus on the youths right now, because both of you are making strong points for the youth. Doesn't that mean that the youths are coming to change the narratives that cuts across party line? Whether you are in PDP, APC, Labour Party, NNPP, you just name it. As long as we trust you, we trust your personality, we know your antecedents, we'll give you the ticket.
Wilson, the man in you must not die. The man in you dies when you prop up any other loyalty above that of your conscience. then the man in you dies. I subscribe to loyalty, but I ascend first the loyalty to my consciousness or the loyalty to my conscience above any other loyalty. And that is the direction that this demographics is running on today. You listen to what he said. It's a new day in Nigerian politics. It's a new day in Edo politics. We are saying that we are one regardless of the proclivities that we share, regardless of the nomenclature of the parties that we belong to. We have a common interest. We have a common goal. We have one dream. And that is to progress. That is to move forward. That is to better the gross happiness index of the people. It should be about the people. Politics should be centered about the people. That's the whole idea of this thing we call democracy. And I'm very impressed that as a member of the APC, he's bold enough. You see, that is one thing young people have not been able to invoke upon themselves. The capacity to dare and be bold and to express your views as they are, your views. But it doesn't have to be right. But is it his view? Is he entitled to that view? If he is and he's bold enough to express it, we must celebrate him. For the fact that he could say this and he could mean it, let us celebrate it. That should be the trajectory we should be headed towards, where people are not afraid. And do you know why he can express his thoughts? Because he feeds himself. He's responsible for himself. So if somebody else was feeding him, he would not be bold enough to say these things. And that is the mind change that the young Edo or the young Nigerian should have now. Let us become self-sufficient. Let us become self-sustaining. The moment we are able to take care of ourselves, we'll be able to be bold to express our views. We'll be able to ascend above this thing called anti-party. We'll be able to ascend above this thing called godfatherism. We'll be able to ascend above this thing called bitter politics. And then converge. Like I said, there must be a diffusion. There must be an osmosis. There must be a cross-pollination or a cross-fertilization of ideas. We could sit down. I'm in the PDP. He's in the APC. He's in the NNPP. He's in the Labour Party. Come on, guys. How can we better our society? What can we do? Who is the best amongst us? Society should project the best. That is what politics should be about.
But some are saying loyalty to the party supersedes all.
Well, that's a view.
And if you go with your own opinion, be like, you are guilty of anti-party politics.
Well, we'll see. See, that is a view. And those who hold that view have a right to the view. Some others don't hold the view. Why there must be a form or a sense of loyalty to your party, you know, there also must be a sense of loyalty to yourself. You know,
so clash of loyalties. That's what you're saying right now. Self and party.
It may not appear as a clash. You see, at every point in time, a man must tilt the scale of his consciousness towards the right path. A man must be able to sit down and analyze his thoughts. What is the best for me and the best for the people around me? And that is where he should tilt the scale. So at the point where it comes that there's a conflict, is it my party? Is it my father? Is it my godfather? Is it myself? A man must sit down and analyze them on the same pedestal, which will benefit me the most, and in turn benefit the society the most. That is where he must tilt the scale. That is what I've been, that's what I'm known for. That is what I've been all my life. And as long as I live, my consciousness or the loyalty to my conscience must be paramount as long as I live. And I'm calling on young people. We must toe that same path. We must toe that same line where we are educating ourselves, where we are decolonizing our minds, where we are reorganizing ourselves on the path of what we think and what we know is best for the majority of us. If you are taking a decision that I know will not benefit him and benefit me, and I support you, I have destroyed myself.
Your own
So
conscience.
why should we be in that? Why should we pigeonhole or allow people pigeonhole us to that point where they make you feel as though, if you don't do
Guilty
what
conscience.
you are told to do, then you don't count? No, you count. Of course you count. And I wish I could gather the millions of Edo people in one room and tell them, we have to change our minds. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. And that is where growth and development comes from. It has always been a battle of the mind throughout the ages. And so a man's mind will control him. So you must put into your mind what will benefit you and the people. It can no longer be what we are told. If what we are told is not to our greatest good, we cannot do it. That is where we must come to as younger people and say, let us pull in one direction. And I'm so impressed. My brother, I must celebrate you. I must congratulate you. I must thank you for the boldness that I have not seen in many young people. I must celebrate you for the courage, the competence, the commitment in the ideals, in the ethos of younger people in this our generation. It is lacking. And when we're seeing younger people like us come together with this mindset, it tells us one thing, that progress has come.
Okay. So it's all about the youths right now.
Yes.
The youths, and of course, more of the youths coming into governance. Before calling to wrap on this segment, some youths, they are still there, having the same old mentality of, look, politics is money consuming, you're just going to waste your money. It's still what the leader says will happen. The entire innocent of they've said it, is written in the stars that this is what the leader wants. So we have to cue in to the ideology of our leaders, so to speak. What have to say to them?
Listen,
Yes.
that ideology or that mindset is already been broken by most of the youths. I want to tell you categorically why. Do you know why? I will use an instance. I will not mention name.
Yeah.
But I will use an instance what happened in the last primaries in my party. It happened that a former governor, deputy governor, Senate, former senator, was contesting for a position against a young business entrepreneur, youth. And several meetings took place before the primaries. And the whole news has filtered out that the leaders and the elders have come together that we should give it to the former deputy governor, per se, to go for the Senate. Do you know what happened? I call it youth revolution. We all said no. We disagree with the youth. And if we disagree, they are minority and we are majority.
People disagree with the elders' choice.
Yes. And we went to the field, which was in Unibe. It was very funny, listen. The elders know they have their own games. They brought up a lot of elders too to come and vote. The elders will vote for the elderly one that has been given their idea. But they forgot to we are card carry members too. We mobilized our youth that can vote as well. And we came out en masse. Before they find out the youth was the majority now. And when the issue was going on, it was no more now the candidate that was campaigning for himself. It was the youth, like we, that were meeting at the elders that came to vote. Mommy, you don't want me, your son, still rule us, make it think, bring the idea.
It was like campaigning for the youths.
Yes. We started talking to the elders because the elders were already convinced that they have to vote what the leader said because that is the usual policy. But when we started talking with them, interacting with them, you see them say, this one I could just give you. This one I will give you. What's they go tell me say, I not vote for her. This one I will give you. When we are coming out of the election at the end of the day, majority of those elderly women, when they were coming out of the hall, they'll say, Paharas, DVD will give you. Paharas, this one will give you. You understand? They will not mention who they give the younger person. Not according to the instruction of the leader.
The elders.
So it tells you already, even some of the elders in Nigeria, our mothers, our parents, knows already that the way Nigeria can go forward is by giving this youth the opportunity. Because look at everything going on. The world technologically and everything economically is developing to a technological world. We are going forward. Our fathers have done their best. They have done manual.
Analog.
Digital. We have gone analog. We have gone digital. And who are the digital? It is the youth.
The youths, okay.
You don't need to look at the party. That's what I'm still saying. Don't look and say, this man, I know him. He is doing very well in the society. In my area, he's doing very well. Let's give him a chance. Put the party aside. Give him a chance. He might even come and do more than your party member will do for you. Because he might understand what takes him to be there. That it was not by his party he was there, but voted by all to be there. So for that purpose, he's not party inclinated alone. He's people inclinated.
All right.
He will be oriented to the people, not to the party. Because normally, party is only a platform, my brother. It's only a platform to come out. When you are already elected, you are no more a party governor.
For the people.
You are not a party senator. You are not a party House of Rep. You are a senator or a House of Rep or a governor to the general public of Edo State. Individual and irrespective of their party. So in as much as that, somebody will now come and want to use one big English anti-party to deceive you, not to do the right thing.
Because right
your conscience will be judging you at home when you have voted the wrong thing, and you say, well, I go do this rubbish. I cannot do that again.
All right. Thank
I
you
will
so
vote
much,
according to my
Samuel.
conscience, who I believe that will take Edo State
To the
and
next
Edo
level.
people to the next level.
Thank you so much, Aras. Obey fellow Isibo, what's your last line on this? Because it's like, youth are not saying, forget about anti-party politics. Let's do this thing the way it should be done.
It's a new
Over
day.
to you, yeah.
It's a new day,
Yeah.
and my admonition is for younger people to get involved with governance. Register as a member of a political party of your choice. Attend ward meetings. Attend local government meetings. Be a part of it. You know, let us start from the grassroots. Let's get more people involved. As our brothers and sisters overseas are coming home, let us inculcate them into the system. Is ours for the taking. We have no choice but to get involved and do it. If not, we will be done.
All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen. I appreciate a wonderful analysis. You've heard them. It's like it's youth o'clock. Yeah, the youths are not coming out saying, look, way back, we don't have the financial muscles. They went back to work on them, on each other, on themselves, on their partners. They empowered each other, and right now they are back into the political scene. Imagine everyone, ons for ons, money for money, wealth for wealth, experience for experience, because they can go ask another for advice to tell them what to do. The youths are not living the background of saying they are the thugs, they are the machineries, they are the hoodlums, the ballot snatchers. They're saying, no, we want to become candidates. Take a look at the parties across the country. Bring it down to Edo State, the youths are like, we are the flag bearers of those political parties. It's our turn. And some elders are beginning to see the pictures and beginning to support the youth's agenda, saying, go ahead, we are with you. But some others are saying, no, party loyalty, what the leaders say must be. It's like the mentality of the youth versus the mentality of the others. Anyway, it's for the betterment of the country. All right, if you have to fight or disagree to agree to make the country or the state better, why not? Let's do that. It's youth o'clock. We'll be right back after this break. Don't go away.